I ambitiously try and record this on the elliptical. So it could be a bumpy ride, but hopefully the image stabilization works. So this is going to be a review of 2024 for me, which is kind of how I went from on Christmas Day, a 17:39 park run to a 17:35 park run. So on the face of that, improvement was little, but I think there's been a lot to gain this year and a lot's happened, and well, it's been a heck of a year, and actually I'm thrilled to be in the 1730s again because, well, didn't think I was going to make it. So I guess the starting point would be January and February, which up until the 13th of February everything went really well. I just kept smashing park run out the park and ran 17:08 on a very horrible windy day, and yeah, it was terrible conditions. And in fact, the week after, the two people that I beat both broke 17, something which I'm still yet to do. One of them's gone on to run like 16:30, which is where I'd like to think I would be had I not had the year I've had. But comparison is the thief of joy and all that, and I am where I am, and that's fine. And then on the 13th of February, I've covered this on the channel before, but I was supposed to have an operation. Didn't happen because they didn't see me until 3 o'clock, and I wasn't allowed to eat or drink or anything like that. And as far as we can tell, I got very dehydrated, and my heart's basically stopped for about 5-10 seconds or something. They had to give me atropine. They didn't need to do defib or anything like that, but obviously that was before any meds or anything were applied. So that led to me having to slow down a bit and to having loads of cardiology appointments. Positive side, 10 years now of low carb, high fat, and my heart's in perfect health. So yeah, still don't know what happened there. I still reckon it was an electrolyte imbalance. So there you go. So I was just getting back into things, and in March I got back down to like low 1710s, I think it was, or something like that. And then again the week after that, stomach bug. But we're not talking about any old stomach bug. We're talking about running to the loo 30 times a day and just having no energy at all. And this went on for a couple of weeks, and then eventually got diagnosed that I had a Campylobacter infection, and it seemed to ease up and things were getting better. I think I had a very small course of antibiotics, and yeah, I know that things have gone back to normal, but I've always had IBS. Yeah, people thought I had Crohn's at some point because I've just always had issues with my gut. And then we went to Disneyland. Still going to the toilet 4 or 5 times a day in a rush. So that wasn't much fun. Got back from Disneyland, that was in June. Diagnosis still having Campylobacter, so a few more antibiotics. And then at the end of June, I had the operation. It was only a minor op, nothing linked to running or carnivore or anything like that. And that op that I was supposed to have in February then happened. So then, of course, I had to recover from it, which actually went really remarkably well. Much better than everything advertised. So maybe Carnivore helped with that, who knows? And so since August, I've just been trying to get myself back into fitness. I was actually very pleasantly surprised. My first park run was somewhere around between 21 and 22. And I've just been chipping off 20 to 30 seconds until I got to the low 18s. And then I've kind of been stuck in the low 18s for a couple of months, and a bit of a breakthrough recently, where I've been down to 18:30 and low 18:40s on a really hilly course at the weekend. So I'm sort of following a similar trajectory to last year. However, this year I still weigh quite a bit more than I did last year. So last year around this time I was probably close to 10 stone, whereas now I'm about 11 stone. So you could argue that pound for pound I'm running better than I was last year. Well, there's no doubt about that. Whether it's fat, whether it's muscle, I'm not quite sure, but I'm going to experiment with things in the new year, see how we go. Part of it might be a little bit down to dairy. So I'm having kefir, which I am letting ferment for a long time though, to try and make reduce the carbs as much as possible. I'm actually having the kefir because, touch wood, since I've had that, my gut has been the best probably it's ever been, to be honest. mean, going carnivore and going low carb improved it, but yeah, adding kefir in, and my gut has just been massively better. I might still get the odd cramp on a morning run, especially if I've eaten too late or too high fat or something. My body still doesn't like too high fat, so I shall move on to discussing that in a bit. But I've had other life factors get in the way as well. My daughter was supposed to start secondary school in September, but due to autism, which I think we all have in our house, but the school that she was going to basically told us at the very last minute that they wanted to change the special plan that's for her, and so we had to pull her out and we've had to fight, and we have now got her in an autism unit in a mainstream school, so hopefully she'll get all the qualifications she needs, which she's perfectly capable of. She's very clever. It's mainly the anxiety that absolutely kills her. So yes, and so I was homeschooling for 2 months, and then I spent a month driving her to and from school, but now the taxi's been arranged, so a bit more freedom there. I'm home alone during the day to some extent. And then we've also had my wife got admitted to hospital at one point, well, not admitted, had to go to hospital in an ambulance at one point. Her vision went and it was all blurry and just, it was not fun. Still don't really know what it was, possibly linked to some kind of migraine from just stress and being overworked. So she's cutting off half a day of work. She's a teacher, and the planning stuff she's doing at home. So she should be able to spend Wednesdays at home, so hopefully she'll be in a better place. And that also means I should be able to comfortably fit long runs in on a Wednesday. And again, I've probably covered it before, but this year we also moved house. So I'm out in our gym / garage, which is awesome to have, but since we knew when we moved into the house we needed lots of stuff done to it, so we've been beavering away doing that ourselves and getting quotes and getting builders and plumbers and electricians in and stuff, and we're nearly there, so hopefully that stress should die down as well. Around the time we moved, our dog got sick and she had to stay in the vet's overnight on a drip as well, so it's been a stressful year. So I'm hoping next year is a calm year. I should probably just throw it in here, but so next year, stick to carnivore is my main goal. I might make it slightly dirty by adding a few spices in here and there. I just want to mix things up a little bit, and I might say my gut doesn't cope with high fat, so I might try slightly higher protein, and also then see if that helps me lose the belly. Whilst we are not calories in, calories out, there is no doubt you eat too much food, you gain weight. So I might even try tracking things for a bit. I've never tracked things since I went low carb, just done everything intuitively, but whether it's because I'm trying to achieve something in terms of my running goals and my weight target that humans haven't naturally evolved to be, it's perhaps slightly underweight, I don't know, it doesn't feel like it, but perhaps it is going for slightly underweight. And but anyway, I'll just track things, but I'm mainly going to focus on how I feel. My intention isn't necessarily to lose weight, it's to feel good and see if I can happen to lose a bit of weight. As I say, last year I was down around 140 pounds, but running the same times as I am now when I'm 155, but I didn't feel great. Well, now I feel awesome. Whether that's the kefir, whether that's eating a bit more, having that little bit of extra weight, but I'm still wearing 30 or 28 inch jeans at times. Still in small, extra small shirts. Yeah, other things have gone really well too. So we've had, so we've moved, my daughter's in the school now, my wife's going down half a day, but effectively gets to spend a day at home. My job's really going really well. And my running's going really well. So I've been getting up to 60, 70 miles a week. I think I'm set next year on doing 6 days a week, taking Sunday as a rest day, and seeing how that goes. I'd like to try and run 3,000 miles in the year. I was going to say try and run walk, but despite all of the trials and tribulations and months of basically not running this year, I've still run about 2,400 miles and walked 400 miles. So I didn't think run walking it would be much. And I'll probably include some miles from the elliptical as well, because why not? It's part of my point is to try and do cross training on it. And if I can count those miles, even if it's just like half a running mile, or count it as walking effectively in terms of tracking the time, Fantastic. So that's my main goal this year, is to stay feeling fit and healthy. Continue to work on the mental side of things. You know, it's easy to forget or easy to slip up on, and I feel there's still much more to be tapped into there. So I'd like to slim down a little bit, even if it's down to say 147 rather than 155, and maybe just lean out a little bit. You know, you see videos of these people on Carnivore, and I'm sure a lot of them are not genuine, and they're stupidly lean, and I don't want a six-pack. I think that's too lean for most people. It's not healthy, not the healthiest state for a human being. I think, you know, obviously being overweight's not healthy either, but yeah. And then I'd like to get under 17 minutes. Now, for those that know parkrun, there's parkrun apps and 5K challenges, and though I've done 300 odd parkruns, because this year I did 44 runs and 44 volunteers, it's nice and equal, as all things should be. And so I've reached 250 volunteers, I've reached 300 runs. I haven't completed the stopwatch bingo. Having done 300 odd parkruns, I've never finished in a time that ends in 43. So I've arbitrarily thought it'd be quite nice if I could run 16:43 next year. It's purely an arbitrary goal, because really my goal is just to stay happy and healthy and just keep training. Training is going well. Since we moved, there's a nice 2.5 mile loop. It's got a bit of a hill on it, which is fun. But yesterday I did 6 loops, so it's about 15 miles. I'd like to do the odd 20 miler this year and see how that goes. I'd like to race a half marathon. I've got one earmarked that has a 1 hour 20 minute pacer. My park run times I'm doing currently loosely convert to a sub 120, and a lot of my training runs are 10 to 14, 15 milers, so I should be in good shape for a half. I've done a little bit of speed work other than park runs, but not a huge amount, just like the odd sort of 400 metre recovered 400 metre repeats, the odd hill reps. And the other thing I want to try this year is just to make things up. I want to try new things, whether that's trying a new book, trying a new podcast, trying some new music, trying a new training session. Heck, I've got a weighted vest. Maybe I'll go and do some hill reps with a weighted vest on, with walking recovery, lots of walking recovery. I just think that there's so much I could try. Obviously, I've got the elliptical as well to use this year, which I didn't have last year. And that should be good for active recovery, especially when the weather's a bit drab. Speaking of which, park run tomorrow, forecast for 65 mile an hour gusts. So I'm currently on about I want to say 7, 8 run streak of sub 18s. Right, could be under threat if I don't have people to run with. Last week on Christmas Day, I actually came bang on 10th. I'm also on a top 10 finish streak as well. But again, I was pretty much solo. I think I've maybe twice had people to run with in all those weeks. I'd love to have someone to run with tomorrow, especially on the second half when we're running back into the wind. So hopefully some of the taller, quicker people that I can just tuck in behind are there. But who knows? So yeah, I'm going to stick to my goals. I've got a few books earmarked that I would like to read next year, but I'm not sure they necessarily count as something new, because one of them, something like Why Vegans Have Small Brains, which has got some interesting science in it. It's showing, again, the benefits of eating meat and animal protein, and why a vegan diet is simply not what humans are supposed to eat. But I'm sure if you'll watch this far into this video, you probably know that. So I'd like to try and record maybe once a week updates, but realistically, given my track record, that's probably not going to happen. So we'll see how it goes. And I'd like to try and track all the data and build a dashboard on the data. Now, again, that depends on finding the right tool for the right price to be able to do that. Tracking the data shouldn't be a problem. You know, I love data, it's my day job. So yeah, we'll see how things go. So yeah, I shall stop recording there. And hopefully someone's watched this, and hopefully someone's learned something. I don't know. If you've got any questions, please let me know. As I am a running coach. I have run sub 18, nearly sub 17, which I will run next year. I've done so much research into so much parts of this. I've been low carb for 10 years now, over 10 years. It's December 2014, my wife and I started low carb, and we've not looked back. So any questions about anything of it, or if you want any recipes or anything at all, just get in touch and let me know. Thank you for watching.